Right. Hi all. Shall we start the session? Right. Hope you are doing well. Guys, I received a lot of messages that there are a couple of power cuts happening in some areas. Even we had a power cut today from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I mean, more than that. So let's get started. If you also face any difficulties, please let me know so I can share you the recordings. Right, so everyone, welcome to grade 13. So we are about to start grade 13 syllabus of your business study subject. Now, before I get into the management topic, as you know, let me give a quick introduction to the grade 13 syllabus, its content, and how it relates with your paper, especially the paper part 2. That is what, end of the day, what matters. So how you are going to get more scores. Right. So with that, let's get started, guys. Right. So I think it's kind of dragging. Is there any difficulties with my voice, guys? Please let me know. Is there any lagging or dragging? Can someone just let me know? Okay, right, good. Yes. Right, now I'm not going to talk about grade 12 stuff, right? So grade 13, it's all about the management, guys. Grade 13 is all about management, right? So altogether, you got like 18 topics in business studies subject. The other topics 18ක් තියෙනවානේ. ඒකෙන් ඔයාගේ 11ක් cover වෙනවා grade 12. එහෙනම් ඔයා හිතයි අයියෝ ලේසි නේද? Grade 13 only 7 lessons. The lessons 7යි lazy. Oh, lazy තමයි අමාරු නෑ. But the content, the content is high, even though there are just 7 lessons. Lessons 7ක් වුණාට ඒකේ තියෙන content එක වැඩි. We cannot just finish within 2-3 weeks. සතියෙන් දෙකෙන් තුනෙන් එක topic එක lesson එකක් ඉවර කරන්න අමාරු. So much of a content is there. Correct. So it's all about the management. Yes, you have from lesson number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Yes, 12 is all about management, right? Introduction, a basic management principles that we'll be studying as the lesson number 12, right? Correct. And then lesson number 13 is all about operations management. So how you do the production in the better way, production technologies that we'll be studying, right? So things like that comes under the operational management. And then lesson number 14, we'll be having marketing management. It's really important that you are doing the production and then how you market your product. And the marketing is a key requirement in today's, especially the high competition that we have to face, right? So then marketing. So all the stuff related to the marketing that we study, especially the 4 pieces, 7 pieces you might have heard about: product, price, place, promotion, marketing concepts, marketing strategies, how we price a product, right? How we make the distribution, promotion, right? So all stuff related to the marketing management. And lesson number 15, what do you think about lesson number 15? It's all about finance management, right? So not only that you do a production, not only that you market your product well, you need to manage your financials as well. So it's about how you get the funds to your business. ඔයා කොහොමද ඔයාගේ business එකට සල්ලි හොයාගන්නේ? අනිත් පැත්තේ ඒ හොයාගත්ත සල්ලි කොහොමද හරියට invest කරන්නේ? So it's all about how you obtain the funds and how you utilize the funds, right? So what are the methods available to obtain the funds? What are the things that you should utilize to get the best return, right? And so this is bit related to accounting, right? Ratios that we'll be studying, how you analyze a financial statement, a profit and loss statement, or what you known as income statement, balance sheet, or what you known as a SOFP, statement of financial position. So a couple of ratios, liquid ratios, asset ratios, leverage ratios, so many things. And they get business studies like a fruit salad. So yes, about the financials, you'll be studying how well you are with your managing your financials. It's very important because money, the managing money is very important to a business. And last but not least, again, you have human resource management as the lesson number 16, HRM, human resource management. So not just how you manage your production, not just how you market your product, not just how you manage your financials. It's really important that you manage well your most valuable resource in your business, which is the human resource. Very difficult to manage. You cannot predict the behavior of the humans. So it's very unique. So the lot of stuff related to the human resource management, starting from human resource planning, how do you make the recruitments, how you conduct the interviews, how do you evaluate their performance, right? So grievance handlings, right? So how you're gonna help, how do you retain your employees for a long period of time to get the best out of them? How do you provide training and development? So all the things related to the human resource management I'll be studying in lesson number 16. Right. Okay, so 2 more to go. Lesson number 17. What do you think? Lesson number 17. It's all about, IT part, information systems. Information systems. Yes, we know that today you cannot run a business without having the knowledge of IT. Very important. Not just the production, even for marketing stuff, right? Managing your business. It's really important that we have some IT skills. Yes, so then, it's about the information systems. What are the information systems available? How do you maintain a database? Things like that. So how important that you have some sort of knowledge about IT. Yes. And coming to the final lesson, lesson number 18, it's about the preparation of business plan. Preparation of business plan. Why I'm telling like that? Yes, you need to have a plan. So how you gonna start a new business? How you attract the investors? How do you go and speak to investors? By showing your business plan. How do you try to obtain a bank loan? Right? Imagine you're just about to start a new business. You don't have any previous financial statements to prove the performance. So then it's just a matter of this report where you saying that this is gonna be my business plan. Now, to prepare a business plan, you need to have the knowledge from all previous lessons, right? So separately, you will be having a production plan, or what we know as operational plan. You'll be having a marketing plan. So in order to prepare your marketing plan, the knowledge from marketing management is compulsory. And to provide your finance plan, so financial management knowledge is important. You'll be having a human resource plan, the number of employees that you require, how you're gonna recruit them, and also the system IT, right? So it's about your business plan. Imagine that you're about to start a business. How do you come up with a plan, right? So we'll be studying that, right? It's not kind of a new lesson, but it's a summary of all the things that you studied from lesson number 12 to 17, right? Kind of a summary that we'll be studying. So that's all about this business plan, right? Correct. So those are the set of things that you'll be having. Now the relationship with these set of topics, and especially with your part 2 paper. Now, if you think about the part 2, you'll be having like question number 5, question number 6, question number 7, question number 8. Right? So I'm talking about the paper 2, part 2, right? Part 2 again, or 8 questions. Most of the cases, most of the අනිවාර්යෙන්ම වගේ paper 2 එකේ part B කියලා අපි කියමු නේද? අනිවාර්යෙන්ම පස්වෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ හැදෙන්නේ management වලින්. Right? Relationship. හැබැයි ඒකේ සමහර operation management පොඩි කොටසක් තියෙනවා පුළුවන්. Correct? එහෙනම් you know that you need to pick at least 2 questions. මේ පහෙන් දෙකක් හරි පහෙන් තුනක් හරි කරන්න වෙනවා. Correct? At least you need to pick 2 questions. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම the lesson that you are about to study, right, definitely will be checked in your question number 5. Right. Question number 6. Question number 6 එකේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට operation management වලින් කීපයක් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම සමහර marketing management වලින් පොඩි කොටසක් තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? Now if you look at the 2020 paper, 2019, you'll be realizing that, right? ඒකින් කියන්නේ මොනවාද? At least නේද? ඔයා දන්නවනේ ඔයා part 1 එකෙන් questions දෙකක් කරත් මෙතනින් තුනක් කරත් එහෙම නැත්නම් from the other end, if you try to select 3 questions from part 1 and 2 questions, yeah, somehow you need to write 5 questions too. So in that case, so if you are going for question number 5 and 6, it's really important that you have the knowledge about management, operations management, and marketing management. Question number 7. Question number 7 ගොඩක් වෙලාවට finance management සහ HRM කීපයක් තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. 8 ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ විදිහට IT system, business plan, හැබැයි සමහරවිට HRM කොටසක් තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? Correct. So that is how the relationship I would say. හැබැයි මේක exactly අපිට මෙහෙමමයි කියන්න බෑ. But what I can say, right? For sure is that question number 5 එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම management වලින් හැදෙනවා. ඒකේ පොඩි operational plan කොටසක් තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් සමහර years තියෙනවා question number 5 fully තනිකරම lesson number 12 වලින් හැදිලා තියෙනවා. Right? ඒ වගේ සමහර question number 6 එකෙන් අනිවාර්ය question number 6 එකෙන් එන්නේ නැහැ management lesson 12 ඒවා. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට lesson number 13 14 වලින් හැදෙනවා. Right? සමහර පොඩි mix එකක් තියෙනවා පුළුවන්. But question number 5 definitely management and some part of from the operational management. Correct. So that is the quick introduction about the grade 30 and the relationship with its lessons and the part 2 paper. So anyway, that when we start the paper discussions, you'll be realizing those stuff. Right. Guys, please mute yourself. Please check before you join. Right. Correct. Okay, so what we can do now? Right. Shall we write this thing, content, as usual? Management day 1. So this is our today's plan. Hopefully, I hope we can finish all the stuff. And also, in a separate place, right? I recommend if you could write this as well. To give the idea, so these are the paper 2 questions. Day 1 එකෙත් explain කරනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට introduction to syllabus කරද්දී. But since we are starting the grade 13 stuff, so I recommend you to take this as well, right? So this is the combination. At least you need to pick 2 questions from each, part 1, part 2. So altogether 5 questions. Right, so first get this, I'll give like 5 to 6 minutes. Then we'll start with the management. Right, so I'll be like another 2 minutes. So again, let's start with the lesson. Right. Now, to give you an introduction about this one, management. Right. So we'll be first studying couple of definitions given by some people, right? Especially the some management consultants, the people who have uh, written so many books about the management concepts. So these set of definitions that we'll be studying, and then there are a couple of key words, key concepts that we need to study before we start. Because why? Without having an idea about those keywords, you will be unable to get the meaning of the future lesson. So it's important that there are some keywords, key concepts that we have to study. Because when you know those keywords, it's really easy that you can understand the set of things, right? With that, before I coming to the definitions of management, yes, what do you think about this? The word management. I really believe you have heard this before so many times. The management, manage your things well, right? You might have heard about the time management, right? So things like that. But what is all this about? Management. Even we have degree programs for management, right? Bachelor's degree, 4 years degree, then MBAs, 2 years, even PhDs. People learn about management so much. And people, and we have heard about the top management, right? The management team, right? Who manage an organization. So what is the so much of requirements of the management? You have heard about the pillars of management, like I discussed here. Right? Production manager, marketing manager, human resource manager, HR manager, so things like that. Correct. What do you think about this all about? Right, let me explain. So what I'll do is I'll just remove this one. Right, so I need to utilize some space. Right. Right. We know that. Now let's forget about the business, guys. Let's forget about the business. Let's think about ourselves. We know that in our life, right? We have so many things to achieve, right? We have some, I would say, targets, like life goals. So yes, everyone have goals and objectives in our life. Yes, to be honest, right? So we'll be having goals and objectives. If I ask you about what are the goals, objectives you might have, you might tell, right? To be a businessman, to be an accountant, to be a doctor, engineer. No, right? No, you cannot say that you want to be a doctor, right? You can get a doctorate, but not an MBBS doctor, right? So things like that. Yes, from the childhood onwards, you might have goals and objectives. But to realize your goals and objectives, it's not easy as you think. Right? අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට හිතන් ඉන්න මෙන්න මේ වගේ කියලා අපේ ලයිෆ් එක. මේම ස්ට්‍රේට් ෆෝවර්ඩ් වෙනවා කියලා. Right? Now මෙන්න time එක. So here's your goals and objectives. Right? අපි තුමාරි මෙන්න age. Now you're like 18, right? 17, 18. Okay. Right? So hari, okay. So 50 set of objectives. 20 set of objectives. 25, 30, so likewise, set of objectives. So this is how you think. But this is not the case always. There are a lot of changes are happening. Right now, even something like this COVID, then who thought that we'll be having a situation like this? Never thought of. So then, things are changing day by day. So it's same applicable to a business as well, right? So business environment is changing. If you do remember your knowledge from the lesson number 1, we know this as the dynamic business environment. Yes. It's very dynamic. Right. Now, shall we apply the same concept to business? Yes, business will be having its goals and objectives. If you could might remember, right? Maximization profits, right? How to maximize the profit, maximize the sales, market share, to face the competition, right? Market price of a share, right? CSR projects, how to treat the employees well. So likewise, in order to achieve the goals and objectives, right, in a business, but still you need to manage the changes, right? So just because there are challenges, that you are not going to give up. So within those dynamic business environment, how do you achieve your goals and objectives? But you cannot just achieve your goals and objectives. You need to have what? You need to have resources. You need to have resources. Now, for example, let's think about attending to this class. You need to require to have some resources with you, right? You need to have another electronic device. Could be a smartphone, laptop, or a tablet, internet connection, right? Set of stationaries, tubes, books. Yes, so likewise, to conduct any kind of business, the quantity and the quality of the resources might vary business to business. And the Handiye Kade versus a supermarket, still both having some resources. And the resources the quality and quantity might vary business to business, but every business will be having some resources. Yes, right? Correct. So yes, we do have goals and objectives, but we have to achieve those in a dynamic business environment. For that, we require to have some resources. Right. Correct. So then, what is the process of achieving those objectives and goals? For that, we'll be having 4 sub-processes. We call this as planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Now, another important thing to share, the things that you are about to study from now onwards, not just for, not just for your examination, but a lot of things that you can grab for your personal life as well, for your personal development, the things that we are about to study. Especially, things are changing, right? A lot of challenges you'll be facing, especially if you run a business, a lot of challenges nowadays, especially you are doing a business in Sri Lanka. Now imagine, so today I had practically the power interruptions, the infrastructures. Imagine 8 to 5. So how a business can conduct businesses, but still that's a challenge. So it doesn't mean that, right, we'll be give up our business. No, okay, not true. But how do you see that challenge? How to take the challenges, right? So power interruptions, power cuts are happening, island-wide nowadays. So one of a challenge. It's not easy, right? So new COVID variants are coming day by day. So that's still a challenge, right? So a lot of people, the young crowd are migrating to another countries. So the knowledge transferring, I would say. There would be knowledge gap. So yes, still, right? It's not always the favorable circumstances. Economic crisis, right? Fuel crisis, gas crisis, all the things that will be happening. Right? But still, right? So we got to manage our business. That is why we require to have management. If all the things are flowing smoothly, then හැමදේම smoothly යනවා නම් අපිට management කියලා දෙයක් ඕනේ නැහැ. හැමදේම හොඳට යනවා. හැමදේම හොඳට වෙන්නේ නැති නිසා තමයි we need to manage that situation, right? So you cannot give up on your education or whatever the things that you wanted to achieve in your life, goals and objectives. Should be having a lot of challenges, difficulties, threats, right? So weaknesses inside you, but still you need to manage. So likewise, the same concept, if we try to apply to a business. Yes, a business might having goals and objectives, set of things. Now, to be more specific, goals are like long-term expectations, objectives like short-term. Now, for example, you might have a goal to maximize profit. For example, let's say for this quarter, kind of 10% increasement. So that would be considered as an objective, right? Correct. So these things are changing. Resources. Let's talk about the resources. So there are a lot of methods that we can divide the resources. අපිට පුළුවන් ඔයා දන්න ලේසිම ක්‍රමයක් factors of production. මොනවාද? land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship කියන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් physical resources, human resources, financial resources කියන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් money, men, market, right? So kind wise anything, right? So that you require to have to conduct the business. Yes. Now, to achieve your goals and objectives in a dynamic business environment by utilizing the resources. So how do you do the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling? Now, let me explain you one by one. Now, the planning is all about how do you set up your objectives and goals, right? So what are the things that you wanted to achieve? You need to have a plan, right? So without having a proper plan, you will not be able to achieve. That is why we always say have a plan. Right? Now planning ගැන අපි වෙනම කතා කරනවා මෙතනදී. දැන් අපිට මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක් කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. There's a saying that if you are failing to plan, which means you are planning to fail. Think about it. Right? Let me repeat it again. If you are failing to plan, which means you are planning to fail. Or plan කරන්නේ නැත්තම්, right? Or plan කරනවා fail වෙන්න, right? So failing to plan is a planning to fail, something like that. Yes, you need to have a plan for everything that you do. Sometimes you might have to change the plan. That's a different story, right? But still you having some plan. And you need to organize your things. And especially the management, in a business, it's not always a one-man show, right? It's a teamwork all about, right? It's like sports. That's why you might have this question sometime. For some reasons, when the big corporations, big companies recruit people to the organization, why they are asking whether have you done any sports, have done engaging any clubs and societies activities, right? Right? Example like have you played cricket, have you played like football or any sports? What is the relationship? What do you think? Right? Yes, it's that to showcase your team spirit, your how good you as a team, not as an individual. Because why? For an organization, it's all about a collection of people. It's not just a one-man show. It's always that a collection of people collaboratively how you achieve the organizational goals. So likewise, the organizing part, right? So how do you allocate the resources? How do you allocate the authority? How do you get the people involved organizing? And the leading, it's not just that you have a plan. It's not just that you have everything organized. You need to have a motivation, a good leadership. So that is why the leading matters. That is why. Then imagine what a plan, what a resources, but still you need to have some motivation. Motivate. So likewise, for your set of employees, imagine you are a manager, you are a owner of a business, you have the plan towards your employees, you have everything what you wanted, machineries, computers, resources, buildings, but still you need to have a good leadership. That is why country needs a good leadership, right? They can have this good leadership, right? It doesn't matter all the resources. Now imagine a country like Dubai, United Arab Emirates. They are just celebrating their 50 years, the golden jubilee, I guess, yes. But imagine how far, right? So they have developed. So within the good leadership, right? So things like that. So leadership matters. So yes, leading, that we'll be talking about. So in this process, right? Because why, you are about to come across a lot of challenges, right? So the resources, how you utilize. So what, what should remain same is our goals and objectives, right? So the external thing should not change your set of goals and objectives. So still you need to have a good leadership. So leading we'll be talking about. And finally, come to the controlling. What do you mean by the controlling? Yes, you had the plan previously. So now it's time that you think whether you're on the track or track or the track. So whether there's any variations that you can realize, because why? You can always compare with your plan versus the whatever the current progress, right? So then you can have an idea about it. So the controlling is about to check, right, whether you're on the plan. So whether you're working as per the plan, and if there's any variation. Now variation could be plus or negative. Sometimes you're far ahead whether you plan. Or plan කරපු එකට වඩා ගොඩක් ඉස්සරහින් ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. සමහරට plan කරපු විදිහටම ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. සමහරට plan එකේ ගොඩක් පිටිපස්සේ ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? So whatever the circumstances, it's really important that you identify your position. So then you can again have a plan. So how do you manage? If you are far behind, yes, what are the plan now? So how do you reach it? So things like that. So yes, so the management is all about, in an organization, how you achieve your goals and objectives in a dynamic business environment by utilizing the resources while planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Right. So these are the set of things that will be studied. Correct. Now, coming to the definition, the first one, let me explain. The first example, first definition, Mary Parker Follett. So she's one of the management consultant, has written so many books about management. She has come up with an idea saying, so she's saying that management is the art of getting things done through other people. Let's revise it. Management is the art of getting things done through other people. Management. You don't have to have a good management. Because why? When the businesses are expanding, when an organization is expanding, like you said, you cannot do all your work by yourself. And the organization from the sole proprietorship or partnership, the partnership company got established. So likewise, when you grow, our business expand with the hammer they you will be doing the production, managing financials, HR, but you'll realize as it expands, you no longer able to do like that. That is how you should be good at working with people. So if you are very good at that, so then it's not going to help you. So she's saying that management is all about, it's an art of getting things done through other people. Yes, you need to have a team of individuals to achieve your goals and objectives. So none of the businessmen can achieve their goals and objectives by themselves. It's all about the teamwork, right? You cannot just when it comes to sports as well, World Cup so it's a collection. Even you bat at well, catch miss you cannot win, right? So everyone's coordination, commitment is required. So that is what, yes, still to achieve your goals and objectives. So she's telling like the art of getting things done through other people, right? Correct. So that's the first definition, and we'll be having so many definitions. I'll come one by one. Right. So what I'll do is before we come into the concepts, then metanapi concepts keep dynamic business environment, goals and objectives, right? Business resources. So first we'll write a definition, as described by the Mary Parker for life, right? So you can come to the required place, and I'll be sharing the screen so you can just write, and more explanation I'll be providing since this is our first definition, right? So can you all come to this page? I'm not exactly sure the page number, but I can show it the place where you need to come. Right here, you see 12.1, the necessity and the importance of the management. So here you have some space, right? Can we all write this small definition? The simple one, stated by the Mary Parker for life. Management is the art of getting things done through other people. Management is the art of getting things done through other people. So it's really important that you remember the people who came up with the definition. How the main definition important, because why? This has been checked. If you check the past papers, they have checked the names as well, right? So there's some more explanation. Shall I come to the tune? So let me highlight a couple of things for you. Now, even though this looks like a very simple explanation, you need to understand the bigger picture behind this explanation, right? Making monada really mean. What does it really mean, right? So it's about it's tell about the teamwork, right? In order to achieve the goals and objective of an organization, you should be good at working with people. මිනිසුත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න දක්ෂ වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි මේකේ අදහස. It's the art of getting things done through other people. Because you cannot manage all. You cannot manage everything. You need to have a team of, let's say, accountants, finance manager to get the financials. So you should be good at getting the things, the work done through other people. Let's say, imagine you are a captain of a sports team. It could be a cricket, basketball, or whatever the sports, football, right? So you should be really good at get the best out of your team, right? In order to win the match. That is your goal, right? So likewise, in an organization, as the the head of the organization or as a manager, you should be good at getting the things done other people, because you cannot do everything, right? If you talk about cricket as a captain, bowling kalla, bat kalla, fielding kalla, you cannot do like that. Yeah, you can get the things done to other people. So how good you are in that particular thing. To get the things done to other people. So that leads to very good management. Right. So more explanation coming back to the tube. Right, මම පොඩි explanation එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. Person ගැනත් explain කරලා තියෙනවා, right? But those are not much needed. But I'll explain, the important areas. මේ විදිහට එයා ගැන පොඩි explanation එකක් කියනවා. Mary Parker for life was an American social worker, management consultant, philosopher, and pioneered the fields of organizational theory. right? So maybe there are body explanation. It's not much needed, but for your knowledge, I have included this, right? Instead of emphasizing the industrial and mechanical component, she advocated for what she saw far more important, the human element. Especially industrial revaluation එකෙන් පස්සේ නේද? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ machinery components ගැන තමයි මිනිස්සු believe කරේ. හැබැයි end of the day, it doesn't matter the machineries, how many machineries you have, but still the human element, the මොන machineries තිබ්බත් මිනිසුන් ඕනේ. එහෙනම් මිනිසුන් තමයි most important element එක. Even you think about the factors of production, even you think about the resources, right? So human elements plays an important role. So most valuable resource. That is why you need to manage. So that's what she's telling. Yes. So more important is the human element, the most valuable commodity, right? Yes. And also she's telling the fact that this is the really important part. She believed the importance of powering with rather than powering over and integrating with the employees to solve conflicts. Hari, what do you mean by this? Powering with and powering over, right? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ concepts එන්න කලින් නේද? මිනිස්සු හිතාගෙන හිටියේ අර අපි කියන්නේ නියෝග දීලා අන කරලා වැඩ කරගන්න. මේක කරන්න. එහෙම නෙමෙයි. මේකට අපි කියන්නේ powering over. Right? ඒ concepts එන්න දැන් use වෙන්නේ නැහැ. තාමත් එහෙම organization තියෙනවා. ඒක නිකන් අර නේද? slaves ලා වගේ වැඩ කරගන්න තීරියක් දැන් නැහැනේ. නේද? අපි ඒකට කියනවා powering over. දැන් මේක හරියන්නේ නැහැ. නේද? දැන් තියෙන powering with. කොහොමද මිනිස්සුත් එක්ක හරියට වැඩ කරලා වැඩ ටික කරගන්නේ? එහෙම නැත්නම් just command දීලා. අපි කියන්නේ command එකක් දීලා වැඩ කරගන්න එක නෙමෙයි දැන් concept එක, right? So powering. So she believed that powering with is more important than the powering over. නේද? powering over කිව්වොත් අපි හිතමු නේද? leader කියනවා මේක කරන්න. Right? Like that. So this is not going to work nowadays. No longer. Powering with, you should be very good at working with them. Right? So that's what she believes. So powering with is more important, not the powering over. Commands දීලා ඒක කරන්න මේක කරන්න කියන එක නෙමෙයි. Right? කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලත් එක්කම වැඩ කරලා how do you get the best out of the people? Right? So that's what matters. So she's telling management is the art of getting things done through other people. Things like an activities, right? The things in the business, what they are doing in the business, right? Could be management, could be marketing, right? Could be operational activities, production, right? So whatever the things, serving to customers, you should be able to, let's say if you run a restaurant, right? You cannot do all things by yourself. You cannot prepare the meals and serve, cashiering, everything. But you need to have people for each and every function. So you should be very good at get the best out of those people, right? So that is what it matters. Imagine you have a business, right? So you should be able to get the best out of the people. So then only you'll be able to achieve the organizational success, the organizational objectives and goals. Right. So I believe, right, you get an idea about the very first definition, right, how it relates with the management. Right, now coming to the second definition. Not just by one person, definition James F. Stone and Freeman, right? The Samara books and co-authors author publish ඒ වගේ දෙකකින් ආපු definition එකක් තමයි the second one. Right, let me share the definition. So you can come, I have put the 11 space, so you can come up with the definition once I shared. Right. ඒකත් එක්කම Robert Creek අපි definitions දෙකම ලියාගෙන ඉමු, so then it's easy for the explanation. Second one, we have the Robert Creek now. So he's also a management consultant who came up with a lot of management concept, right? So shall we just write the two definitions? So then I'll come back one by one. And you already know the meaning of some words. So to some extent, I believe you can understand what they're trying to tell, right? Since we have some understanding about some keywords. You only have to write the definition. The individual's name I have already included. So whatever the definition, may have a definition how do you achieve your goals and objectives? කොහොමද ඔයාගේ end goal එකට achieve කරන්නේ? So that's why even this could be applied to your personal life as well, because you have your own goals and objectives to achieve. So likewise, in an organization also having their own goals and objectives. So how do you achieve those? In order to achieve, it's not easy as you think. That is why you need to have a management, right? So for that, you need to have some resources, right? So how do you manage those? How you plan? How do you organize? How you lead? And how do you control? With the available resources to get the stated goals, the expected, the things that you wanted to achieve. Right. හරි බලන්න මේ definition දෙකෙන්ම එකම අදහස නේද කියන්නේ කියලා. Right. Now let me first come to the definition given by the Stone and Freeman. Management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Remember, guys, you will be having separate units in your tube, separate sections. Mama dala thina. Planning is a separate subtopic. Organizing is a separate subtopic, leading is a separate subtopic, and controlling, right? So remember that will be in detail, we'll be studying. But, as a summary, at this moment, remember the fact that planning is how you set up your objectives, organizing, how do you get the resources, how do you allocate the work to others, because you are not in a position to perform all the work by yourself. And leading is all about the leadership, motivation, right, to your fellow employees. And controlling is the fact you're gonna check whether your plan is working, whether you are doing the things as per the plan. Plan එකෙන් නේද අපි කියන්නේ track panel track එකේ යනවද නැත්නම් ඉන්නේ expect කරපු වඩා ඉස්සරහින්ද පිටිපස්සෙන්ද, things like that. So do you do the process, work of the organizational members and using the available resources. We know that resources are limited compared to the bonds, right? So that's the basic concept that everyone knows. But we cannot complain on that. Right? So with the available organizational resources. Now even the richest person in the world is having just 24 hours per day, right? So yes, still the resources are limited to you, but you try to manage. That is why you need to have the management. Like I said, the things are changing, business organization, environment, resources, right? So that is, you need to have a management. If everything goes in a smooth manner, we don't have to have any management. Expect right? So you no longer require those concepts, right? Correct. Second one, Robert Kriegner, right? Robert Kriegner menna mema kiya. Management is the process of working with and through others. You should be good at working with people, right? That's what matters. That, to be a good leader, to be a good manager, to achieve the organizational objectives in a changing environment. Mama explained a dynamic business environment are changing. The business environment is always changing. It could be internally, could be externally. Or in a talented managed organization, right? Still changing. Employees might change, resources. And from the other point, economic crisis, energy crisis, right? Health crisis. So a lot of things, lot of threats, opportunities could be there. So the management, so the business environment is always very dynamic. So that is why, like I previously said, and like I always telling, that is why you need to have a proper management to face those circumstances, to manage that situation, right? Correct. So central to this process is the effective and efficient. Under the key concepts that we'll be studying about these two concepts, right? Yes, with the limited resources. May mona definition yes, in an organization, right? Order goals and objectives. Order organization goals and objectives. Challenges order labelu. It can changing environment. නැත්නම් dynamic environment එක ඔයාලට resource තියනවලු නේද මේක manage කරගෙන කොහොම හරි මේ goal එක reach කරන්න තියෙනවා. That's how simply we can tell about the concept of management. Correct? Now ඔයාගේ දේවල් manage කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. Yes, still you'll be having challenges, you'll be having limited resources. නේද ඒක නෑ මේක නෑ කියනවට වඩා තියෙන resource how you get the maximum utilization, the maximum benefit. Correct? Yes, limited resources. Right. And I'm gonna definition එකේ ගුණක් ඔන්න ඔය ටික තමයි stated කරන්න ඔය වචන ටික පොඩ්ඩක් නේද මාරු කරලා අරගෙන තියෙනවා. Right. හරි. දැන් අපි general definition එකකට එන්න හදමු. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ඔක්කොම individuals persons ලා කරපු definitions නේ. ආගේ syllabus එකේ තියෙනවා a general definition එකක්. මේ හතරෙම idea එක අරගෙන අපි තවත් definition එකකට එන්න හදන්නේ. That is what we known as the general definition, right? Shall we come to that part as well? All right, you don't have to write it. I have already included it. Let me just come to that part. Okay. Right. ඊට අමතරව මම තව definitions කීපයක් දාලා තියෙනවා. Joseph Massey කියලා කියන්නේ ඒවා කියන්නේ Henry Fayol, right? මේගොල්ලෝ management expertise ලා. Yes, management is defined as a process by which a cooperative group directs action towards common goals. ආපහු කියන්නේ කොහොමද goal එක achieve කරගන්නේ කියලා. Henry Fayol, management is to forecast, to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and control the activities of others. Yes, still, kind of things, but those are not much needed. For your knowledge, only have included to get an idea. Here's the general definition. But let's say management is an effective process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of the resources of an organization. Yes, now when you say resources, could be the human resources, machineries, vehicles, buildings of an organization efficiently and effectively to achieve the stated goal. Yes, goals and objectives of an organization in a dynamic business environment. Yes, you will have to do what? You have to survive. You have to achieve this organization with the challenges, right? With a lot of threats, right? So it's always changing. It's not going to be stay. Now it's very unexpected, right? So what's certain? Expect the unexpected, right? Expect the unexpected. This is unexpected දෙයක් තමයි වෙන්න හදන්නේ, right? In an organization, it's always changing. Right? So expect the unexpected. Yes, still, right? So a lot of challenges that you have to face. Challenges එක මේ වෙනස් වෙන environment එකේ තමයි ඔයාට වැඩ කරන්න වෙන්නේ, right? So but still you need to manage it. Still you need to achieve the goals and objectives, right? එහෙනම් අපි මොනවාද summary එක බලුවොත්, right? Yes, introduction okay, set of definitions, all that we discussed, and then shall we come to the discussion of some key words, some key concepts in the management lesson. First, again, we'll be having the dynamic business environment, right? මම මේ ගැන already explain කරලා තියෙනවා. හරි, අපි පොඩි note එකක් දාගමු. Dynamic business environment. Dynamic business environment. Right. Shall we write this? The internal and external environment. Yes, you know that the business environment that you divide in two parts, internal and external. So that are constantly subjected to change. So what constant is the change, right? So everything is constantly subjected to change in various situations are known as the dynamic business environment. You cannot complain, right? Entrepreneurs are not going to complain. Complain but still you have to manage, right? So that's why, because you know that situations are going to change. The situation face internal change, external change, right? So in an organization, internal things are changing. Good employees are leaving. Machineries, right, would be right interrupted or broken, right? What else? Customers, suppliers, managers, employees. So all the stuff related to the internal organization is subjected to change, as well as external as well. Now you might remember the things that we discussed, the business environment lesson. which is the lesson number 1, basis of business. Externally, economic environment, political, natural, global environment. So you name it, right? There's a list of external environment. So things are changing. Now, what do you mean by the dynamic business environment? Now, our business start everything is subjected to change. Internally, externally. Right, next thing, you got the institute එකක් නැත්නම් organization එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. Organization, a company, organization. හරි, දැන් මේ ගැන ඔයා ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා ඔයාගේ lesson number 4 එකේ. හැබැයි ඔයා lesson number 4 තාම කරලා නැත්නම් මේ බලන්න business organization එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. Yes, an organization is a union of people, a collection of people who work together to achieve a common goal, right? So, let's say organization like what? Let's say your school. So, collection of people. School කියන්නේ තනි student කෙනෙක් අපි කියන්නේ නැහැ school එක කියලා. It's a collection of people, union of people, students la, teachers la, staff, academic, non-academic, principal, all boys, all girls, parents. So it's a collection of people to achieve a common goal, right? For a school, yes, there's a set of common goals, better education, right? So better students, right? To do something to the society. So everyone has a common goals. So then we can call school as an organization. Likewise, when you come to business organization, you have your set of business. Now let's say a Keys, right? Supermarket, common set of goals, right? To achieve more profits, to expand the business, more sales. So it would be the common goals for everyone. Because why? You believe, since you are an employee, let's say you are the outlet manager. So more sales that you are getting, more bonus, more salary increment, more benefits that will be getting, right? More benefits to you, right? So it's a collection of people who work together to achieve a common goal, right? So that's what we know as an institute or an organization, right? In order to manage කරන්න තියෙන මේ organization එක මේ organization එකේ ඉන්නවා internally, externally, stakeholders la, right? Internally they will change, externally they will change, So you have to operate this organization in a dynamic business environment, right? With the subject to change, right? Shall we write that as well? Institute or an organization. මොකක්ද institute දෙයක් එහෙම නැත්නම් organization එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. A union of people who work together to fulfill a certain goal or goals can simply introduce as an organization. A collection of people or a union of people. There are certain goals. A union of people මිනිසුන්ගේ එකතුවක් අපිට තනි පුද්ගලයෙක්ට කියන්න බෑ ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක් කියලා. නේද? එක ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවනම් අපිට කියන්න බෑ මේක ස්කූල් එකක් කියලා බෑ. Collection of people, it's always a collection of people. You are not an organization. Organization එකක් නෙමෙයි. කීප දෙනෙක් එකතු වුණොත් තමයි organization එකක් හැදෙන්නේ. A union of people who work together to fulfill a certain goal. or එක goal එකක් නැත්නම් goals කීපයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Can simply be introduced as an organization. Right, next keyword, goals and objectives. මොනවාද goals කියන්නේ මොනවාද objectives කියන්නේ? අපි මේ ගැන තවත් කතා කරන planning lesson එකට ආවට පස්සේ, right? In a summary manner අපිට දාගන්න පුළුවන් මොනවාද goals and objectives කියලා කියන්නේ. Right. I hope you're done with writing. If you're still writing, let me know. I can share it back. Right, goal and objectives. අපි කියනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට goal එකක් long term, right? තවගේ life goal කියලා අහුවොත් නේද පොඩි කාලේ අහනනේ goal එක මොනවද වගේ නේද කවුරු වෙන්නද කැමති. ඒතර වා කියයි හරි ඔකේ කියන දැන් corporate manager කෙනෙක් එහෙම නැත්නම් accountant කෙනෙක් වෙන්න තමයි ආ කැමති, right? ඒතර මේ goal එක can you achieve it by overnight? goal එකක් පුළුවන් ද overnight achieve කරන්න? No, right? It takes so much time. So it's a long term thing, right? When you say a goal, so it's we cannot specifically say it's 10 years, 5 years. නේද goal එකක් කියන්නේ 10 years, objective එකක් කියන්නේ 1 year කියලා අපිට කියන්න බෑ. හැබැයි අපි කියන්නේ ඒක long term, right? There's no specific definition for that, right? So long term, what you wanted to achieve, goal like business goal. So let's say your goal is to become, let's say you having an apparel company. So you're saying your goal is to be the Asia's #1, the Asia's largest apparel manufacturer, right? In our Asia, the largest apparel manufacturer in overnight. It takes so much of time, right? It's a long-term oriented thing. Have an objective එකක් අපි කියනවා ඒක short term. now අපි මේ මෙතන එහෙනම් ඔයාට මේ goal එකට යන්න ඔයා කියන හරි next quarter එකේදී next year එකේ I'll increase my sales by like 10%. So very specific objective එක. නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ sales තව නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ profit එක මෙන්න මෙච්චර ප්‍රමාණයෙන් වැඩි කරා short term, right? To increase the number of employees, to increase the capacity to this much. So what we known as an objective. හරිම සරල දෙයක් කියන්නද? ඔයාගේ goal එක තමයි to pass the examination well, right? Let's say you are A-level examination, so to pass it with flying colors. So that is your goal, and for that you have already started, right? නැත්නම් exam ලබන මාසේ නම් ඊට කලින් මාසේ පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? No. So then you have a goal In our objectives මොනවා වෙනවා ඇතිද? To face the term test well. Unfortunately, I don't think, right? We'll be having term test. Term test has come up. So your objectives are make a achieve karaganaga objectives තමයි to attend the classes, right? Every day. You're not going to miss any class. If in case you miss, you try to cover, right? To face the whatever the term examination, mock exams, so whatever the practice papers. So eventually, while you are achieving your objectives, it will lead to your goal. Am I correct? So likewise, you'll be having objectives to increase sales by this percentage every year. It will eventually lead to achieve to the goal. Am I correct? So when you're having set of objectives, so while you are achieving those objectives, and මුලින්ම objective එකක් තියෙනවා මේ region එකේ largest manufacturer වෙන්න, right? මේ country එකේ, right? A country set එකේ මේ විදිහට ගියාට පස්සේ yes, eventually you'll be achieving to your goal. So goal is always a long term thing. But long term කියන එක අපිට හරි specifically කියන්න බෑ. ඒක 10 years to 5 years කියන. Objectives ගැන අපි ඉස්සරහට කතා කරන planning lesson එකේදී අපි කියන ඕනම objectives එකක් smart වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා, right? Smart. And දැන් කියන I don't work hard, work smart කියලා. So it has to be very specific to your goal. ඔයාගේ goal එක තියෙන්නේ to pass the examination very well. හැබැයි ඔයාගේ objective එකක් තියෙන මොනාරි ඔයා ගහන මොනාරි computer game එකක මොනාරි level එකක් pass කරා. So it's not specific to your goal, right? ඔයාගේ goal එක exam pass වෙන හැබැයි ඔයාගේ objective එකක් තියෙන්නේ වෙනම කොහෙවත් යන එකක්. ඒතර ඔයාගේ goal එක මේ පැත්ත objective මේ පැත්ත. So it's not specific to the goal. So it has to be specific to the goal, the objective. It should be something measurable, right? In a percentage or in a monetary value, it has to be some measurable. It should be something achievable, practicability, and the practicability එකක් තියෙනවා. It should be something realistic, again, real there, and also time bounded. The time එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් මං කවදා හරි A level pass වෙනවා කියන්න බෑ නේද? So it has to be with that some timeline. Likewise, අපි මේ ගැන in future lessons අපි කතා කරනවා, right? So no need to take this at this moment, but still enough that we write some small explanation about a goal. So goal is all about the long term thing, and objective it's compared to short term. So it will lead to achieve, it will help to achieve your goal. So once you eventually fulfill your objectives fulfill කරගෙන යනවා නම් ඔයාගේ goal එකට ඉබේම reach වෙනවා. Right. Shall we write that part as well? Let me share the content. The results that an institute expect to attain in the long run. Long run. The long term කියලා කියන්නේ long run එක තමයි නා. Long term. Right, next thing about the resources. Right, so we can simply say, guys, it's something that we need to, when we conduct a business, anything that we need to require to conduct the business. Now, I cannot conduct this class without having the resources. You cannot participate for the class without having resources. So same like you cannot conduct a business without having resources. It will vary, like I said, based on the business, the nature of the business, the capacity, the quantity of the resources and the quality. But still you need to have the resources, right? So this is how we can classify. There are three methods. First one is the 7M plus 2C method. 7M means you'll be having 7 M's and 2 C's. M hatak, C degak. Monada M hatak? Yes, men. What do you mean by men? Is the labor. And the labor resource. Money, financials. Minutes means the time. The kale avashay. So time is a resource. Machineries, yes, the capital. And methods, production methods, formulas, right? So production methods basically. And market, yes, having a market is a resource to you. Your own market, your market share, how much you have in your market, the market percentage. And the materials, again, capital, right? Raw materials, so whatever the things that you want. And concepts and customers. So customer is a resource. Again, the concepts that you'll be practicing. So this is what the 7M plus 2C method. resources classify. But here the 7M, why? Because there are 7 M's plus 2 C's, right? And then the factors of production. I don't think that much explanation needed for that. Lesson number 1 naked. And if I study economics, yes, factors of production. Another land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneurship, right? So this is based on that classification. And then kind of the traditional classification අපිට බෙදන්න පුළුවන් human resource, physical resource, financial resource, time resource, information resource. නේද? මිනිස්සු කියන සම්පතක් නේද? labor. Physical resources කියන්නේ අර machineries, buildings, vehicles, right? So tangible items. Financial resources, obviously the financial capital. And time resources and the information. Yeah? So information resource. You are having an information about set of customers, customer details, their feedback, responses is a resource to you. Right. So shall we take this? I'll be providing an explanation, but you see in the page, business resources කියලා මම බෙදලා තියෙනවා නේද? හරි. අපිට පුළුවන් මේක දාගන්න. So these are the three methods. Right? Shall we take this business resources කියලා තුනක් තියෙනවා තුනකට බෙදලා තියෙනවා ඒ තියෙන මේ තුන ඊට පස්සේ under each and every classification you have the set of examples, right? Here you have the examples. මොන විදියට මේක classify කරත් still the same resources, right? දැන් මෙතන කියනවා main කියලා. ඒක තමයි මෙතන human resource කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක තමයි මෙතන labor කියලා කියන්නේ, right? මෙතන capital. එහෙනම් capital කියොත් machinery, material. Right? Something like this. Entrepreneurship may be the concepts. Right? It's a මෙතන physical resources කියන්නේ මෙතන machineries and materials. Things like that. Okay? Just the difference, the classification, but the content remains the same. So 7M plus 2. C method, factors of production methods, very easy, straightforward, only for classification and the traditional classification. Right. So guys, if you also having power cuts or whatever the weather conditions, let me know, right? So I'll be sharing the recording because I got a lot of messages today. So having some power interruptions in their areas. So unable to join because of that. Yes, the lack of infrastructure facilities. But what to do, right? Dynamic business environment කියලා තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. Right. Let me give like another 2 minutes. If I say rightly, let me know. And with that, we can move to the productivity and process, I'll keep effectiveness and efficiency for the next day, because why? It required to have more explanation. So another two key areas, which is productivity and process, I'll come to that, these two, right? And I'll skip the effectiveness and efficiency for a while, because it required more explanation. So then I'll come to productivity and process. Right, resources. I think I need to give the small explanation, right? Right. Shall we write this in the relevant place? Business resources, like you see. Hope we have completed the chart, but can we write small explanation? Everything that is used to use as an input in a business. Or business එකක ඕන දෙයක් භාවිතා කරන input එකක් විදියට. Yes. To do a production, you need to have employees. That's what we mean by the men or the labor or the human resource. That's the input. You need to have materials as input. You need to have machineries. You need to have methods, right? So anything that you use as an input for the business activities. So information as input, right? Knowledge, concepts, time, money. everything that is used as an input in the business, right? So shall we quickly come to the productivity and the process as well? Right. Now you know what is an input. Then obviously you should know what is an output. අපි දන්නා මොකක්ද input එකක් කියන්නේ output එකක් කියන්නේ. Right. Okay. The relationship between the input and output we known as the productivity. And අපි කියමු for example that for a printing shop, right? Printing shop එකක වැඩ කරනවා employees ලා 4 දෙනෙක්. Right? Just a simple example. So 4 employees are working in a printing shop. Right? So they are like කාට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේගොල්ලෝ main කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන් human resource. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙතන තිබාගේ labor කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. So මේගොල්ලෝ input එකක්. මේගොල්ලෝ දවසට හදනවා tubes 100ක්. Right? 100 tubes. එහෙනම් මේක තමයි output එක. ඔයාලට මේ tubes 100 හදන්න බෑ නේද? මේ 4 දෙනා නැත්තම්. එහෙනම් so output you divide your output you divided by the input. එහෙනම් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් 100 divided by 4 it's like 25. එහෙනම් productive is 25 per man. එහෙනම් එක employee කෙනෙක්ගේ productivity එක 25යි. කෙනෙක් 25ක් tubes හදනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක අපේ labor hours වලට convert කරලා ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? But here the number of employees. Right? Let's say they are using 2 machineries for this, 2 printouts. Two printers. So output is 100, 2 printers. So 50 is the productivity of each printer. Likewise, right? Let's say they are using like 10 bundle of A4s, 10 bundle of A4 sheets, right? Material, right? So let's say, so from one bundle, one A4 bundle, they are printing 10 tubes. So the productivity, any kind of input, the relationship between input and output is simply known as a productivity. Productivity ගැන අපි ගොඩාක් කතා කරනවා වගේ lesson number 13 operations management වල. So how do you increase the productivity? The lot of things, right? So you need to always make sure that you increase the output and you try to decrease the input. නේද? හැමතිස්සෙම output එක වැඩි කරගෙන කොහොමද input එක අඩු කරන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා කොහොමද 3 දෙනෙක්ගෙන් printouts tubes 100ක් හදන්නේ? නැත්නම් දෙන්නෙක්ගෙන්. Right? Likewise. So there are methods that you can practice or that you can use in order to increase your productivity. Correct? දාගේ productivity එක බලන්න පුළුවන්. දවසට papers කීයක් කරනවද? නේද? දවසට lessons කීයක් ඉවර කරනවද? So your own productivity you can calculate. Likewise, so always try to improve your productivity. So it's the relationship between input and output. Right? Shall we just quickly write it? Let me share the content. Right? Remember, this is just the basic explanations. මේවා concepts විතරයි. අපි මේවා ගැන detail කතා කරනවා upcoming lessons වල. Specifically, like I said, operations management. Shall we write the relationship between the input and output of a firm? Firm කියලා කියන්නේ organization එකක්, institute. A specific time is the productivity. Specific time එකක් තියෙනවා තෝ. So it's the output divided by input. the relationship between output and input. So output simply divided by the input. So output is always the number of product units. Input could be varied. Input එක labor hours ගන්න පුළුවන්, machinery hours, number of machines, number of employees, material quantity, right? So whatever the input that you wish, you can have like separate productivity for employees, productivity for machineries, right? අපි මේ ගැන in detail කතා කරනවා lesson number 13, operations management. But here to get an idea about the basic idea about productivity and how it calculated. Right, I think the time is sufficient for that. Shall we quickly come to the process? The process එකක් කියන්නේ. What do you mean by a process? A process, right? Apita simply කියන්න it's a combination or the relationship of the activities which combine each one. So there's an interrelationship between the activities. An example like අපි හිතමු t-shirt එකක් shirt එකක් හදන්න process එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? good එකක් හදන්න process එකක් තියෙනවා. cake එකක් හදන්න process එකක් තියෙනවා. පාන් හදන්න process එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි ගත්තොත් furniture එකක් නේද? interrelated activities තියෙනවා නේද? මොනාරි timber නැත්නම් wood ගෙනල්ලා නේද? design එක කපලා ඊට පස්සේ මෙතනින් polish කරලා ඔක්කොම එක වගේ පේනවා නේද? හරි. cushion කරලා නේද? අන්තිමට final product. දැන් wood ගෙනල්ලා එකපාර cushion කරන්න පුළුවන්ද මුලින්ම cushion කරලා ඊට පස්සේ polish කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ, right? So there's a interconnectivity. You have to follow that. Right? That's what we know as a process. For most of the cases, we have a process. Management is also a process. It consists of 4 sub-processes: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. You cannot start from the controlling, right? In order to control, you need to have a plan. You cannot start with the leading, right? You need to have first planning. So it's the interconnectivity. The first planning, then organizing, then leading and control. You cannot straight away come to the control. You cannot just start from, with the cushion part. Furniture එක cushion කරන්න පටන් ගන්න බෑනේ. නේද? ඊට කලින් දේවල් කරන්න තියෙනවා. So likewise, a process is the interconnectivity between the tasks. Right? You have to follow them. So accordingly, the management also a process consists of 4 steps called planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Right? That's what we can tell about the concept of process. Right? Shall we write this then? Process. Let me share it. Group of activities connected to one another with continuity then. The continuity is very important. Process එකක් හැමතිස්සෙම continue වෙන්න ඕනේ. අඳුමක් මහාන වෙන්න පුළුවන් කේක් එකක්. දැන් කේක් එක මුලින්ම icing කරන්න බෑනේ. icing කරනවා, right? So you have to follow the process. ස්කෝල යන ලෑස්ති එකත් process එකක් නේද? මුලින්ම නැගිටපු ගමන් සපත්තු දෙක දාගන්න නැහැ නේද? So likewise, so you start with the process. So the connected to each other. Right. දැන් එතන පල්ලෙහා තියෙනවා නේද අර bullets 4ක් දාලා. ආයේ bullets 4 ඒවා මෙන්න මේක වෙනම ලියා ගන්න separately. Planning, organizing, leading, controlling one by one. Right, with the provided bullet points. Right, guys, so the done with writing, please raise your hand so I can see that. Right. So what about Naomi and Pasa? You guys are still writing? Right. Well, so just 1 minute before we wrap up the session. Right. Management that we started. So I gave you introduction to the your grade 13 syllabus. The management, operation management, marketing management, finance management, HR, then IT, and you have the preparation of business plan, right? And then yes, couple of definitions that we discussed. Now you should be have a proper understanding what do you mean by management, correct? So how people have come up with different explanation. Mary Parker Fuller, James Stone and Freeman, Robert Treatner, and again a general understanding. And then it's very important that you understand some key concepts, some key words. What do you mean by goals and objectives? What do you mean by a dynamic business environment? Right? What do you mean by process, organization, institute, productivity? So things like that. Because why? We'll be using those words in the upcoming lessons, upcoming, in topics you'll be seeing, right? So to have some sort of understanding is really help to understand those lessons as well. Correct. So two more things are pending: effectiveness and efficiency. I'll take up to the next day since it require more time. And also I forgot resources. The classification of the resources very important. මොන විදිහට classify කරත් එකම resources set එක තමයි එක එක විදිහට classify කරන්නේ. So make sure 7M plus 2C and factors of production, then we'll be having the traditional classification. Right, correct. So with that, that's the end of the management day one. And thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you with the next week. Thank you.